I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Wednesday, happy days. It's just one of those happy days. The weekend comes, the cycle runs. It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is
Knock it off, you scum fuckhead.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those happy days. It's just one of those happy days. It's just one of those happy days. The weekend comes, the cycle runs, ready to extend. It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the blood stain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And you go stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about happy days. It's just one of those happy days. It's just one of those happy days. The weekend comes, the cycle runs, ready to extend.
I feel like shit. My suggestion is distance.
Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the farm.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I'm looking over like a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What? Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching the show. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 97 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. I'm just seeing that the every single fucking time this is a great start. The connection is kind of running low, so I hope that doesn't interfere with the show or anything like that at all. But if it does become a problem, I'll see if I can get that sorted out. But hopefully everyone can hear me all right. I'm just gonna keep on checking that and see. If it's not going to be any issue or anything like that at all, then I'm sure it will be like a major problem. But we'll see with that. There was a quick comment from Rory Herper. Hello, Rory. Thank you very much for watching the show. Nice photo of you in Overton Crescent, Denny at Chief Media. Well, thank you very much for that. I'll get to that in a short moment here. Wow, I'm really sweating my balls off. Sorry, folks. Today has been absolutely roasting hot. I even got my own water bottle with me just in case if I need it for like a quick drink or whatever. But today, I never expected. Well, even after this past week has been absolutely roasting, but this weekend has just been too much. I got the windows open, well, kind of, but I got enough air that will keep me going for the rest of today's episode. So let me have a look and see in the chat who's here at the moment. I see that there's actually 25 people watching the show already, which is fantastic. That's good to see. Hopefully more people will come along and join in. We'll definitely see with that. Definitely, I know I was a bit late on setting up the show and all of that before it even started, but we're here now. So please, if you can, please share the stream, give it a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Please also follow me on other platforms. In fact, that's actually a good thing I brought that up because there's all of the other platforms I'm on, like Telegram, Twitter, Gab, you name it. If you want to follow me on there, that would be much appreciated. Also, let me see with this here. So who's in the chat? Let me start off with that. So I mentioned Rory Herbert, of course, I mentioned already. Gamma Sandwich, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. And I actually don't need this at the moment. I actually don't know if I really need this for the remainder of the show. But there might be one thing, but I'll bring it up in a second. Gamma Sandwich, how you doing? Roscoe, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Inshallah, Streaky Bacon, thank you very much for watching the show. What Tyler 1381, thank you very much for watching the show. Chris Jones, good afternoon, thank you very much for watching the show. Kenny Henny, thank you very much for watching the show. Kitchen Skillet is with us, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Brum Owl, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. We also have No Chance in the house. Thank you very much, No Chance. Thank you very much for watching the show. I've also appreciate your comment that you made on one of my Telegram posts. So, for those that don't know, I posted an image on my Telegram page on my official channel. Basically, it was a meme of making fun of the modern man, if you will, where they don't see themselves as slaves to religion, but they see themselves as like actually, let me see it. Basically, they don't see themselves as slaves to religion. In fact, they see themselves as they're free of religion. But besides them are all of these consumerist products, if you will, or like weed and all of that. I'll just have a quick look and then see from there. So yeah, it's basically, if I can get on the screen like that meme. I don't know if it's maybe the right way, but religion is simply slavery. I choose not to be a slave. And then beside them is, of course, it's that typical meme. It's got fast food, Pornhub, Netflix, Nintendo Switch, TikTok, and of course, weed. Basically making fun of the idea that he's actually still a slave of the current system we're in just now, where it's not necessarily religion, but you can say it's almost consumerism or like anything that would make them weak and all of that. So which I thought was a pretty good image, but No Chance made a funny comment about, oh, is it meant to be Dangerfield? And of course, he was joking along. It's not like supposed to be Dangerfield or anyone from the nationalist movement, but it was a funny comment nonetheless, so I appreciate that. So thank you very much again, No Chance. Who else is here? Toby Radley is in the chat. How you doing, Toby? Thank you very much for watching the show. Ragnar Ironspear is with us. Thank you very much for watching. And also, his stream, Rags and Jacks, I think it's called, will be streaming at 7 p.m. later on today. So, of course, after my stream. I know there's the PA Film Club that's going to be going on at 7 p.m. also. This month's film they'll be reviewing. It's a film called Children of Men. Now, I've not seen the film myself. I have heard of it and I've seen clips of it, but I've not actually sat down and watched the entirety of the film. But that's the film they'll be covering tonight, which I think will be very interesting, to say the least, especially with today's climate. That's going to be a very interesting film to talk about. Who else is with us? Strontium Dog's with us. How you doing, Strontium Dog? Appreciate you being here. Josh Ratcliffe, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Runrig Rocket to the Moon, thank you very much for watching the show. We also have Resisting the Lies, or DJ, thank you very much for watching the show, as always. Keith Grant, I don't think I've seen you before, but if you're new, thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and also give the stream a like. Let me see. James Smith, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Let's see. The Earl of Stair, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Very good film. It's like today, yeah, pretty much so. What I would imagine, or even Gamma Sandwich is saying Children of Men is rubbish. So it's quite a mixed opinion so far. Which again, I think tonight's PA Film Club review will be very interesting to say the least. And actually, there's actually been a lot of clips I've seen on Twitter as of late. Well, Twitter and also Telegram. Garlic Gorilla, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Clips that have actually been very interesting. I've seen them on both Twitter and Telegram. And I think it's from a from a page called Seeing is Believing, who follow me and some other nationalist people. So I'll see if I can maybe bring them up as well, because some clips in particular, I think actually need to be a bear showing, which I thought were pretty interesting. Especially those clips were from like a bygone era from the 70s or the 80s. So those will be very interesting to look into. But before we get into that, there will be a couple of articles I'll have a look into as well. One that was brought to my attention by a very own English Rose, who I don't know if I've seen in the chat, or maybe she's busy with something. I'm not entirely too sure, but I'm sure she'll come along at some point. But she brought this article to my attention, which I'll definitely cover today. And there's another one, which will be, of course, the first article to be featured on the show, because that's the thumbnail. And I thought that actually brings a lot of attention to our cause, so I'll definitely cover that in a moment. English Bulldog, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Thunder and lightning here. Oh yeah, I've heard there's going to be some thunder and lightning at some point, so I don't know if it's going to be happening later on today where I live, but we'll just need to wait and see. But there's a lot of forecast warnings, so I've even got like a forecast warning it's going to be raining later on, so maybe that might have to do with thunder and lightning. But At some point during the show, if it starts raining or anything like that at all, I'll need to go up and get the washing that's still on the line just now. So if it starts raining, I do apologize. I just need to quickly get the washing in, but I won't take too long or anything like that at all. Hopefully, it doesn't happen during the show, but if it does, I'll need to do that at some point. But anyway. So yeah, where did I first start off with? Tonight and tomorrow for England. All right, interesting. So today I was out with a couple of guys from PA Scotland, more specifically the central region. We went to Denny for about a couple. I think it was about a couple of hours. It was just a case of just going out doing some leafleting. The leaflets we handed out were the White Minority by 2066 leaflets. We were going to be. I think it was a case of it was originally going to be about the living crisis leaflets, but we thought, maybe we should give out those leaflets instead. Thank the Lord, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show, and it was a very smooth sailing leaflet run. We never had any problems or any issues or anything like that at all. No one sparked out or anything like that at all. So it was a very decent leaflet run nonetheless. So really good stuff. Really good stuff. So that was that. Came home round about, say, just after 2:00. But of course, I was busy, doing other things, and then of course got all the episodes set up, all the equipment and such. And now I'm here, so that should be the main thing with that. Just sorting out the camera. That should be all right. Donner und Blitzen. Let's see. Let me see here. Awesome. Right then, let me just quickly get the link for the first article in question, and then we'll get started. Now, this one is from the Courier. I think that's how you pronounce that. This, more specifically, the Dundee region or the Dundee version. Now, of course, this is all to do with the banner drop at the White Lives Matter banner drop that happened about almost a week ago, I would say. It was a fairly recent one. It was all part of the Indigenous Peoples Day that happened on Tuesday this past week. So that happened, and of course, people are still talking about it, which is, of course, saying something here. The heat here is oppressive, and storms forecast tomorrow evening. Thankfully, well, we'll see from there. Now, before I get into the article itself, I want to read something in particular. Actually, just before, very humid here in northeast. Yes, it's a lot more humid at this point now over here in Scotland. So maybe the rain might come along, but we'll definitely see with that. Right, so I've got that here. It's a full screen. Should probably have it here as well, but I'll just get this page here in a minute. Right, so I've got the first article up here. But before I read the article itself, and of course, tearing it to shreds, because it's actually an opinion piece by none other than Nadia El-Nakla, I think I pronounced her name. Of course, very Scottish sounding name, but that's beside the point. A European housewife, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. I haven't seen you in a long while, but it's good to see that you're in the chat, which I greatly appreciate that. So for those who don't know who she is, Nadia, in this case, not an English housewife, but Nadia El-Nakla, she is the wife of Hamza Youssef. The same Hamza Youssef who is infamous, who is part of the infamous video clip of, too much white people in the Scottish Parliament, or something, white this, white that. That's the type of person we're dealing with here. But before I get into the article itself, I want to read out a couple of definitions of damage control when we get to this here. So what do I mean by damage control? Well, damage control by definition is efforts made to minimize damage or loss, or an effort to minimize or curtail damage or loss. Now, that's pretty important when it comes to this particular article. Now, again, this is an opinion piece, so there was already an article about this from I've covered this in the previous episode. I think it was from the Daily Record or the Scottish Sun. They're all the same to me anyway, so it's either or. But I do know I have covered it on the previous episode, quite briefly, I might add. But I mean, at the end of the day, as we all know, any publicity is good publicity when it comes to patriotic alternative. Anyway, let's get right into the first article at hand. And it's by Nadia El-Nakla, who is this woman here. And again, this is an opinion piece by the Courier. It reads, "Why I pity the people hanging White Lives Matter banners in Dundee." Again, this is her opinion piece. This was written on the 11th of August, so about 3 days ago. And we'll have a look at this bit by bit. So let's have a look. White Lives Matter, to quote the banner that appeared on the law in Dundee this week. Yes, they do. It goes without saying. But the reason the slogan is being used is not because white lives are under specific threat. Or, I mean, I'm sorry, but this is like my first time reading this article as well. But I'm sorry, just like those first couple of sentences alone, she is dead wrong on that. Dead fucking wrong on that. But I'll get to that in a moment here. The reason White Lives Matter is being used as a racist response, a counter slogan to the Black Lives Matter movement. It is a counter movement established by a white supremacist group against a global movement of freedom, equality, and inclusivity. Right? Okay, I highly doubt that. It's mostly just a way of trying to demoralize and completely destroy, again, like the white Europe, the white nation states, and all of that, and trying to white guilt us, and trying to I try to make like the white population have a sense of white guilt, make them completely feel guilty for the sins of their past, if you will, and of course their ancestors and whatnot. Hence why you're seeing in all kinds of institutions like the education system, where they're teaching kids, especially white children in Britain, to feel a sense of shame, to feel guilty about their ancestors, and why everything in the past needs to be looked into a in a modern lens, if you will, of making people of the past look really bad, especially if it comes to white people. This is a quote from her. Those who are placing these White Lives Matter banners across Dundee do not have my upset or my heart. They have my pity. Well, she'll get into why she has their pity, but let's have a look at this. The historic enslavement of Black people continues to be a global shame. I mean, look, white people were the ones to stop slavery, but you know what? Slavery is still going on to this very day, like modern day slavery. In fact, funnily enough, Nadia, these are modern day slave trades going on are usually happening in countries like, or in continents like Africa or in the Middle East. I remember specifically there was like a case happening in Libya. You know, there was an actual slave trade going on in that country. But again, we just sweep that under the rug because we all know exactly what this is all about. It's all part of the anti-white narrative to make white people look bad and to make them feel guilty about the sins of the past. Even after colonization and slavery has been abolished, a power imbalance remains, resulting in institutionalized and structural racism. Right. So they want us to believe that Britain and all these other white countries and white Europe has always been a multicultural, continent or multicultural society and this and that. But then also want to turn around and say, oh, by the way, they also went through structural racism or systematic racism. Right. So which is it? Were they part of the architects of building Europe, or were they coming into Europe but then being treated like second-class citizens because they're not Europeans within those countries? It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. You have to pick one over the other. If you have a problem with Black Lives Matter and feel the need to say all lives matter or white lives matter, then you need to look inwards and reflect on why you can't acknowledge the struggle and inequality that exists for Black people. I can't. This whole Black Lives Matter. Well, we all know exactly why people just don't like Black Lives Matter, because it's basically a giant front. Not only is it a front to promote Marxist ideology, but it's basically a way to dismantle white European ideas, especially in countries like in America. That's really what all boils down to. Which I always love the fact, like early this year, when myself and of course PA Scotland got together for the Chris Donald. Can't even speak tonight. Sorry, the Chris Donald remembrance, where we got together to remember Chris Donald, and we did photographs and banner drops and all of that. Again, as a way of remembering Chris Donald, but also bringing up the fact that these cases actually do happen. Chris Donald was a victim of of a racist attack against himself. Even the perpetrators who killed him even admitted that they killed him because he was a white boy. He was white. Now, of course, imagine again. I know this is a bit of a cliche to say at this point, but imagine if the races were reversed, if it was the other way around, if it was a group of white men, kidnapping and torturing and killing off a non-white boy or girl in this case, then you would never hear the end of that. And that's the whole point of why we also wanted to talk about Chris Donald in that light. It was a way of remembering him, and also to bring up that these cases, and it's not just happened towards Chris Donald, but this happened to multiple people in the West or in Europe for that matter. And that's just one of many, many examples. But of course, with the mainstream media and of course, charlatans like Nadia El-Nakla, whatever her name is, they just want to sweep this under the rug and what's important is multiculturalism and diversity and all of that. That's what it all ultimately boils down to. Let me see. Whether it is educational attainment, job opportunities, or political representation, Black people fall behind because of decades, even centuries of structural and institutional barriers that exist in some form to this very day. White people can step up as allies. Well, I mean, look, I'll actually read this part here in a moment. The BLM movement is about Black people. However, white people have an important role, not as victims, but as allies. Well, I mean, even then, even if white people were to become allies to the Black Lives Matter movement, it's never enough. It's never enough whatsoever. A white person can be a member of BLM or be an advocate or be an ally or anything at all to help out the cause for that law. It's never enough. It's never enough. That's why we're always seeing like mass migration keep coming into the countries. That's why we're seeing all of these murders happening, these rapes, these molestations happening, because people like, say, who support BLM or any other institutionalized or are very anti-white, they want white people to be wiped off the face of the map. That it's never enough when it comes to that. The only way how like these Black people or any non-whites that will be satisfied with this is if white people were to become not just a minority but gone completely. That's how they'll be satisfied at this point. As people who are willing to put their heads above the parapet and use their privilege to change the world by amplifying the voices of those who aren't being heard. If you also say, well, I don't see color, then it ultimately means you don't see me. Of course, these are the same people who will turn around and say, like, oh, well, everyone should be all treated the same, which, I mean, look how it all fucking turned out at this very point. We're one race, the human race, but then, but we need to see representations of these people and these doctors, these teachers in these institutions, because again, we're supposed to be living in a multicultural society and whatnot. Just absolutely ridiculous. It means you only see the world through your own lens and privilege. It may be all good and well that you don't see color, but I am afraid our institutions are not colorblind. Well, then I really want to save this part to the end. But I mean, if that's the case, why not just go and live in your ancestral homelands then? Why not just leave this country if you think it's so bad, so racist, and so filled with colonizers and whatnot because of the sins of the past? Why not just go back to your own ancestral homeland? Why not just leave, get out of here, and leave us the fuck be? The group White Lives Matter promotes a white supremacist worldview, advocating for raising white racial consciousness and the formation of white ethno-states in North America, Europe, and Australia. Well, I mean, what exactly is wrong with that? I mean, if Black Lives Matter is supposed to be is supposed to be an advocacy group for Black people, why can't we have White Lives Matter? Because I mean, what we've seen in white countries is white people are being treated like second-class citizens within their own homelands. So it's like the whole point of White Lives Matter is just promoting the idea of white well-being and, of course, white survival. I mean, what exactly is wrong of saying that, like White Lives Matter? Because I'd like to ask Nadia, so I take it white lives don't matter. But, of course, we all know at the start of this article, her opinion piece, that, yeah, she says white lives matter. Then what's even the point of Black Lives Matter then? Why not just say, like, all lives fucking matter? But, I mean, we all know that all lives matter is basically a giant coup to begin with, but the whole point of stuff like Black Lives Matter and all these organizations, institutions, is that they're all very anti-white. That's what it means when it comes to this part here. So this idea of raising white racial consciousness and the formation of white ethnostates. Well, I mean, look, yeah, continents like North America, Europe, and Australia. I mean, look, or even like country like Australia. I mean, look, they're white nations. I mean, you can cope and seethe all you want about how like places like America and Australia, the white Europeans came along and colonized those countries. But look, they're white countries at this point in time. It should be accepted that these are white countries. I mean, look, even if we were to go the route of actually giving these countries back to the indigenous peoples of those lands, like America for the Indians or the Native Americans, whatever you want to call them, or the Aborigines for Australia. I mean, look, I'm just going to state an obvious fact here, but even if those lands were to be given back to those people, those countries would be fucked, because before the white Europeans came along and colonized those countries, those people, especially in countries like in America, those people were, indigenous people, those lands, were still living in the fucking Stone Age. I mean, but that's racist to point that out. It's just stating a fucking fact here. I mean, if those countries were not colonized by the white Europeans, those countries at this point in time would be screwed, absolutely screwed. So the reasons why countries are the way they are today, like in America or Australia, is because of white Europeans. If it weren't for white Europeans, then these people would be fucked. Same thing when it comes to the subject matter of slavery. Black people would be better off if it weren't for the white Europeans enslaved them. Like, first of all, no, you fucking wouldn't. Because again, look at the continent of Africa. Sure, Africa has a lot of resources that to pick and choose from, but black people do absolutely fuck all with that. And again, it's not. I mean, people can say, "Well, this is racist" or what, or anything like that. It's just stating an obvious fact here. I mean, if I remember correctly, there's certain states or certain cities that were built, for black people. We helped out with that, if I'm not mistaken, and we even went away and said, right, we've helped build your towns and cities. We helped out with the resources and all of that. Here's your civilization. You could do whatever you want with that. Just that we'll just leave it to your own devices. Then what happens? They basically, those cities and towns, they turn to fucking shit after that. So it may come off as if I'm being a white supremacist for saying this, but it's just stating an obvious fact. If it weren't for us in any way, then they'd be fucked in that case. Especially why at this point in time where black people always want to rewrite history and act like, oh, well, actually, this is all black history. It's because prior to that, they never had a way of recording their own history, and that's what they're pissed off about. The only sense of history that they have is to do with slavery, and that's what they're pissed off or envious of that in this case. I mean, they would also be envious of fact towards like Asians, because even Asians had a better sense of history with white people. Well, not just with white people, but than say other black people do. I mean, it's just an obvious fact with that. And then, of course, there's a memorial of George Floyd, or St. George Floyd, with hashtag Black Lives Matter. To promote its message, it encouraged pro-white activism in the form of rallies, propaganda distribution, and recruitment efforts. What, you think Black Lives Matter wasn't anything like that at all? Okay. Black Lives Matter, especially when it came to George Floyd, was not politicizing them or anything like that at all? Or whatever. The U.S. WLM, or White Lives Matter, co-founder Rebecca Barnett has said, to quote, "What happens to blacks in this country at the hand of law enforcement is none of our concern, other than to prepare to restore order and rebuild our neighborhoods, taking back our lands one community at a time. When the enemy destroys, we guard our town borders, and make our homes white and great again. Do not allow our lands to turn into Haiti. Time to shut the savage beast down. Shut down Black Lives Matter." I mean, I wouldn't say it like that for the last sentence, but I mean, what exactly is wrong of saying that? I mean, there's been multiple sources of videos or photographs of black people looting, stealing, destroying. I mean, we've seen what happened with the Black Lives Matter protests a couple of years back. We've seen what happened in Minnesota with all of the peaceful protests that happened, but they're basically out riots. I mean, there were destruction of private properties, destruction of private businesses, assaults, rapes, murders, in fact. So, I mean, where's the lie in saying that? Where's the fucking lie in saying that? White Lives Matter slogans have no place in Dundee. Oh, of course you would say that. I was in two minds about writing this piece because I don't want to give this racist group any oxygen. Fucking bullshit. You just want a virtue signal with this. That's exactly what this whole article is about. It's virtue signaling and it's all damage control. That's all what it boils down to. Because I guarantee you, right? I guarantee you right now, she's seen all the comments, like the responses to those articles, and we're just like, because I did bring up the fact that there were responses from comments within the news outlets. I think they were from the Courier itself, or maybe from the Sun or the Daily Record, and there were comments that were bringing up saying, well, or maybe she's seen it on Facebook, but there were comments saying, well, yeah, like what's wrong with saying White Lives Matter? I mean, some of them would say like, well, all lives matter, but then it would go on to say, well, I mean, there's nothing really wrong of saying White Lives Matter, right? Which is true. There's nothing wrong with saying White Lives Matter. And this is all what this all boils down to. It's basically a response to that. This is all virtue signaling, and it's all just complete damage control at this point. I mean, it's transparent as fuck. That comment right there of, oh, I just don't want to give this racist group any oxygen. Bullshit. You don't give a fuck. Like, this is all just complete damage control and just trying to try and swing the narrative in her favor. That's what it all boils down to. Completely what it all boils down to. Let me see here what else writes. But at the same time, it's important to call it out wherever we see it. It's hilarious that, because again, when I was out with some of the guys from PA Scotland doing something for Indigenous Peoples Day in George Square in Glasgow, not a single person came up and called us out for it. We just did our own thing. I mean, and the only thing people did was being in the background, taking photographs or videos, and then post a snarky comment on Twitter or any other platform for that matter. And that's it. I mean, this idea of, oh, we need to call out for what it is. These people are fucking cowards. They're absolutely cowards. They'll never come up and say, oh, this is a racist banner. I disagree with it. They're absolute fucking cowards. Call out for what it is. Well, funny to say like you're going to call out for what it is, but yet never bother actually coming up to us at any time whatsoever, except maybe for like one time with one older woman came up to us and called us out for it, but that was all because of the sectarianism aspect of it, because we put up a placard that reads "White Lives Matter" on the King William of Orange statue, and she was more annoyed about that fact rather than the fact that it says White Lives Matter. But that's of course beside the point. But that's only just one example. And again, those other people could definitely do the same, but they didn't. Instead, they just sat on their arses in the background, taking photographs or videos, and then posting a snarky comment about it on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or any other platform or mainstream platform for that matter later on. So they're just complete utter cowards for that. Let me see. Those who are placing these White Lives Matter banners across Dundee do not have my upset or my heart, they have my pity. I can only imagine in the mindset of a person who looks at a global movement which fights against the unjustifiable murders of Black people by the police and strives to eradicate racism. Would eradicate racism is basically code words for erasing white people. That's what it boils down to. And yet somehow finds themselves as the victim. Go fuck yourself, Nadia. You know what? When it comes to that fact, we say White Lives Matter, and you know why that is? Like I mentioned with Chris Donald earlier on, our people are being murdered, being raped, being sexually molested, especially when it comes to like the grooming gang scandal that happened in England. Oh, well, that's just only happening in England and Wales. Well, guess what, sweetheart? It's happening up here in Scotland too. May I remind people of Govan Hill, for instance? I mean, that's a prime example of that, of grooming gangs going on in those fucking areas. I've talked about that before, but it does bear repeating here. So That fucking comment right there, and yet somehow seeing themselves as victims. Well, yeah, our people are being victimized by this whole multiculturalism experiment, which might I add, it's not necessarily a natural change, it's a manufactured change. So this idea of, oh, Dundee should embrace this multiculturalism and diversity, when at the end of the day, it's basically just a manufactured change. That's all what it boils down to. Nobody buys it for a fucking second. And not a single fucking person, a right-minded person here in Scotland, would want any of these people in this country to begin with. Remember the whole the Afghan refugees that were going to come in because of what happened in Afghanistan with the Taliban? They acted like as if, like, oh well, we should have we should have these people in this country. It's our moral duty to bring these people into this country as refugees. Nobody wants these people here, and not a single fucking person, like native Scot, wants any Somalians or any Ugandans or Indians or anything like that at all to come into this country. Nobody wants these people here, and it's about time we actually close the fucking borders regarding to that. And this isn't just my opinion, by the way. This is an opinion that's shared by lots of people in this country, whether Scotland, England, Wales, or Northern Ireland, because people are just sick to the back fucking teeth of it, of us white people having to feel a sense of shame for our nation, for our culture, for history, to feel a sense of shame for our ancestors of what they might have done to like these non-natives within this country, or any white country for that matter, being taught to feel a sense of shame of who they are, and while at the same time embracing the idea of bringing these foreigners who nobody wants these foreigners to come into the country, and just accepting and feel the need to accept the idea that they're going to be replaced, and these new Scots, quote unquote, will be the majority within the country, and all of you white Scots, well, you need to accept your fat. Well, go fuck yourselves. And I'm sick of myself, and many other people in this country are sick and tired of it. Are sick and fucking tired of it. And it's about time that people like myself are basically calling out for what it is, and to try and bring awareness to this idea that white lives do matter. And these countries like Scotland and England and the rest of the UK and all these other other countries in Europe, and of course places like in America and Australia, are white countries. And it's about time these non-native people who come here legally or illegally need to accept that fact. And if they don't like that, then they can just go back to their own ancestral homelands. Simple as that. Let me see. This is not a healthy and compassionate outlook. In this situation, the victimization of the self is racist, self-indulgent, and selfish. Oh, the sweet irony of that. The invisible, cowardly folk putting up these White Lives Matter banners in Dundee do make me feel sad. I believe numbers of supremacist groups are sad, angry people. Well, I mean, in a sense, like we are like sad and angry people. You know why that is? Because again, our people are being victimized with this multiculturalism experiment. Again, I brought up Chris Donald. I'm going to bring up Lee Rigby. I'm going to bring up people like Emily Jones. I'm going to bring up the thousands upon thousands of white working class girls who've been victims of this multiculturalism experiment. You know, I mean, yeah, you can feel the sense of like we are saddened and we are like fucking frustrated with the idea. I know I keep saying this like throughout the show, but it bears repeating here. But we're being treated like second-class citizens in our own fucking homelands. I mean, do you not understand where we're actually coming from with that? So the whole point of White Lives Matter is saying, yeah, white lives do matter. White people have a right to exist and a right to self-determination. That's the whole point of saying White Lives Matter. And the whole point, I mean, again, this whole point of Black Lives Matter or Stop Racism or Hope Not Hate and all of that, they're basically institutions or organizations that are very anti-white. They're all part of this propaganda of replacing us native populations, because at the end of the day, Scotland, and I've said this in my speech at the previous PA conference, Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, the whole of the United Kingdom or Europe, or even countries like Australia and America, I'll add these two for this part here. These are white countries. Always has been, always fucking will be. And again, like I said just now, if these non-native people don't like that idea, then they could just go back to their own ancestral homelands. Simple as that. And they could be happy with that. It's as simple as that. As a psychotherapist, I could see their inner child screaming out for a hug, craving some love. Well, maybe not from you, to be quite honest with that, but honestly, I just love how she's trying to like fucking psychoanalyze people like white nationalists in this case, who are just looking out for their own people. I don't understand like what exactly is wrong with this idea of white people like myself who are just looking out for their own kin. Every other culture does that. Every other racial group does that. Black people look out for one another. I mean, hence with Black Lives Matter, Middle Easterners go look out for one another. When it comes to Muslims and whatnot, Asians look out for one another. So why? I mean, is it not okay for us to do the same thing, or is it not? I can't stand the utter hypocrisy. Well, I want to say hypocrisy, but at the end of the day, it's all to do with hierarchy. That's all what it boils down to with that. As a person of color, of course, you would mention that. So basically, she's not exactly Scottish herself, so she can basically get the fuck also. I think white supremacist groups are dangerous and stomach churning. Well, what exactly is the worry here? We're not going to cause harm or anything like that at all. We're contrary to popular belief, Nadia, but we're not exactly hateful people or anything like that at all. We're just looking out for our own people, and we just want the ethnic Scots, the ethnic English, Welsh, etc. We just want those people to remain the majority within these islands, within these countries. Is it that much to ask for? Like, I mean, would you honestly, Nadia? I don't know if you ever see this, but I hope you do. But I highly doubt you ever will. But would you honestly make these same points when it comes to the Japanese becoming replaced within the country of Japan? Would you say that when it comes to the Indians, if they were to become a minority within India by, let's say, like multiculturalism or anything like that at all? Why is it I have a feeling that if I were to bring that up, your tune would completely change? Or if it were to happen in those type of countries, why is it that your tone would change and you would not want that to happen within those countries? It's probably because they're all non-white countries regarding to that fact. As a local councillor, in fact, you know what I actually find stomach churning when it comes to that, or dangerous? Someone like your husband, Hamza fucking Yusuf, who of course made that speech about white this and white that, when he wasn't even born in this very fucking country. He wasn't even born in fucking Scotland. He was born in fucking Pakistan, his home fucking country. And yet he has the fucking balls and the audacity to become a member of the Scottish Parliament and make that fucking speech when if the shoe was on the other foot, if it was, say, a white European person going to the Indian political parliament or the Japanese parliament or any other non-white political party or parliament whatsoever, and talking about how, you know what, as a white man, I think this country has too much Japanese. There's too much Indians or so on and so forth, and there's not enough of me or any representations of me within history or culture or anything like that at all. Do you think those native people would actually take that fucking seriously? No, they wouldn't. They would just laugh it off and tell you to go back to your own ancestral homeland. So this idea of I'm on like a massive rant regarding to this, but I hope, Nadia, you can actually see the frustration they're coming from people like us. We're just people who are frustrated with the current system, this anti-white current system we're living in just now, and we're just wanting our people to be remained the majority within their own homelands. And that's it. We're not calling for violence. We're not calling for the what people like yourself would probably say, the ethnic cleansing of the non-natives of people. We're not asking for that. We just want our people to be left alone, to be remained the majority of these homelands. And for these non-native people, like non-Scottish, non-English, etc., we would just want to ask them, look, this multiculturalism doesn't work. This diversity clause and all that doesn't work. Can you please leave and go back to your own countries? That's it. We're not calling for violence of any sort or anything like that at all. That's all we're asking for. I think there's more. I think maybe just a couple last sentences with this article, but we'll have a look at this. And as a local councillor, I believe this group is made up of a small number of individuals that we, as a city, will not allow their hate. We stand. We see here's a cringe part. We stand united against racism, and we will continue to be the welcoming city that I was born and raised in. Nadia El-Nakla is an SNP. Of course, she's part of the fucking SNP. What a surprise! SNP councillor for the West End ward on Dundee City Council. She is also the council's equality spokesperson. Yeah, there's something with that as well. No comments with that whatsoever. But there we go. So again, this entire article. There's a lot of people watching the show. That's great to see. It's just absolute fucking bullshit. I mean, not only is this an entire article is basically a complete damage control because of the previous article that was made, but it really just goes to show that people like myself or people in the chat watching right now, when we dare to go up and say white lives matter and looking out for our own people, she will instantly shut that down, but have it completely the opposite when it comes to Black Lives Matter, which I've already expressed earlier on the show. The whole point of Black Lives Matter, not only is it a Marxist movement to promote the idea of Marxism or communism, but it's basically a way of promoting the anti-white agenda. That's all. I mean, again, what do you think the whole fucking kneeling thing was? You know, kneeling down for Black Lives Matter. It's a way of submission, so that the native population, the white population of within Scotland, England, and all of that would kneel and submit to Black people who even they themselves don't even view themselves as Scottish or even British for that matter. They see themselves as fucking African, which then bears the question: why not just go back to your own ancestral homeland? But they don't ever do that because they feel that they're entitled to our necessities and all of that. It is frustrating. It really is frustrating that. And for Nadia in that article to say that, we're going to denounce hatred or anything like that at all. Okay, so would you say that to your own fucking husband, Hamza Youssef, who has a complete vehement or a resentment towards white people, especially the white Scottish people in this very own country? Why is it that she would? Is a completely different matter when it comes to her own husband, but then for people like myself or anyone from Dundee who says white lives matter, with her mind, let's fight hatred with hatred to the people who are just advocating for their own kin. Like the hypocrisy or the irony of that alone is astonishing, absolute astonishing. Anyway, need that. So that will be the end of that article right there. I might have came off as a bit of a rant to become with that, but yeah, it's unbelievable. I know it is unbelievable. It really is. No chance. Funnily enough, Nadia is a big pro-Palestine Palestine activist. Why? She's Palestinian. Well, there we go. There we go. Go figure with that one. So, let me see. Sad and angry. Well, yeah. Well, of course, we'll be sad and angry. I mean, how dare we express what we actually feel in this very own country? Like I said, we're being treated like second-class citizens. Our people are being constantly murdered, raped, and molested. I mean, again, with the whole molestation aspect. Again, I need to repeat the grooming gang scandal that happened like for multiple generations throughout decades. That's been going on with this stuff. So of course, as soon as there's a point where people like like myself or anyone in the chat who may express that sense of anger and frustration, we need to feel like guilty and keep on starting. Sorry, it's just the audacity from that article is just astonishing, absolutely astonishing. I mean, how dare we actually express how we truly feel instead of actually pretending to feel in front of all of these like progressive types? Like how fucking dare we? African and Pakistani migrants are destroying Cyprus with violence and crime. Right, so there we go. This whole multiculturalism and diversity experiment is not only is it manufactured, but it's just clearly not working. And all of these fucking people who promote like multiculturalism and diversity, they don't even want that in their own fucking back garden. That's the funny thing with that. All of these liberal types and all these progressive types who promote diversity and whatnot, they only promote it as long as it doesn't happen near where they live. If it's happening into like working class areas, they don't give a fuck. It's like, oh, well, see, multiculturalism does work. We promote multiculturalism. We promote diversity. Look, see, we got our own Chinese restaurant nearby. Like, isn't it great? Isn't diversity and multiculturalism fucking fantastic? But we all know for a fact that when it actually happens in their own front garden or their own back garden or near where they live, their tunes would fucking change like that. Because they know for a fact they wouldn't want that near where they live. Noble movement, yeah, a noble movement when it comes to Black Lives Matter. What a fucking joke. They will never be happy. Of course, they will never be happy. They will never be satisfied. As I said earlier on, the only time they will ever be satisfied is if white people were to be erased and gone completely. And even if we do become a minority, even they won't be fucking satisfied with that either. October, thank you very much for watching the show. I appreciate you being here. Denny Lambia, I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you very much for watching the show. She is an anti-white, therefore she will twist anything we say into a message which serves anti-whiteism. Exactly. That's her whole fucking agenda. So excuse me. Shitlibs are always NIMBY. Yeah, they are. They get upset when I correct them. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, indeed. Well, do you know, funny thing enough, after that article was posted, there actually was a response to that article. I think I don't know if it was from one of our guys or maybe it was someone else, but I'll bring this comment up because it's important to bring this up at the moment here, because let me see if I can get this up here. So this would be the original, and then there's a follow-up to that. Let me see here. Sorry, bear with me just 1 second, folks. I'll get this up in a moment. I wonder if it's actually going to bring up the... Yeah, of course. Right. Okay. Let me just get back onto this, and then I will get to this part here. They get upset when I correct... Oh, I read that already. Sorry, my bad. Let's have a look. English Weather, I think she's in the chat. Well, thank you very much for watching. Let me see here. Right, share that. Right, so this was a comment or a response to this article. Again, I'm not entirely too sure if it was written by someone from PA Scotland or if it was, again, someone outside of the groups or anything like that at all, but they made a response to this article. Now, I'll read out the entire thing. Perhaps she has forgotten how angry and aggressive her husband was when he pointed out how many white people are in positions of power. He had some real problem with white people in a majority white nation that is culturally and historically white running this nation. That was a big problem for Hamza. He didn't see us all as one people. He saw that white and non-white are different, and also that too many whites in positions of power was a bad thing. It seems that when white people dared to take a similar line, we treated with scorn and anger from these non-whites, our fellow Scots, apparently. But when they do it towards us, it's fine. They are justifications and excuses, and Whitey is somehow in the wrong. But we see you. We see what you are doing, and the more you do it, the more people realize multiculturalism is of no value to white people. And that was response to the article by, again, someone from PA Scotland, or again someone who's Scottish, but people disagree. It might be from someone from PA Scotland. I'm not entirely too sure. Well, they wrote that comment, which again, absolute tremendous comment. That's definitely very true with that. So what happened to the comment afterwards? It gets deleted, or it reads, your comment appears to violate our community guidelines and has been deactivated. So there we go. So even if you were to try to respond to this article right here, if you were to try to respond it like that, they apparently just not only delete the comment, but they banned the user for ever posting ever again on that website. Why is that? That really speaks major volumes, doesn't it? Like, these are the same people who will turn around and say, "Oh, you know, these white supremacists, these neo-Nazis, these fascists," or if you want, you know, they'll contradict themselves all the time. They'll say at one minute they're a threat to the nation, they're horrible, they're bad, evil people, and they'll be aggressive, they'll be violent towards the non-white population or anything like that at all. But in the next sentence, but don't worry, they really should be taken too seriously, or they're just a small minority. It's like, well, what the fuck is that? And even if someone who is a white nationalist, who is looking out for their own people, does post a comment like that, will then get immediately taken off or of the platform or get shut down like that. Why is that? I mean, if we really are not that much of a threat, and if our views are so abhorrent and people will not agree with us in any way, shape, or form, surely it must be easy for them to refute us, right? I mean, especially with Nadia, do you think it'd be easier for her or for Hamza or anyone of her ilk to refute us of white nationalists or Scottish nationalists, like true Scottish nationalists or proper Scottish nationalists? Do you think it would be easier for them to refute our talking points? But they know for a fact that if we were given an actual platform to actually speak our mindset, what we truly believe in, they know for a fact that people would actually agree with us and they would lose the fucking support. They know this, which is why they would always try to deplatform us in any way, shape, or form. Which, I mean, again, really does get the noggin jogging, doesn't it? Really does get the noggin jogging there. So how come nobody in the Scottish Parliament pulled Hamza up for being a racist for saying this? Well, again, it's all to do with hierarchy. I would say hypocrisy, but ultimately speaking, it's all to do with hierarchy, the change of hierarchy. Why are Dundee United fans called Arabs? I don't fucking know. It's kind of a bit bizarre that. Their hatred for us stems from total envy. Exactly, that's what it boils down to. At our history and achievements and our civilization, they know they come from inferior civilization. Don't forget which bastards opened our borders. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry. I was involved in nationalism for years. Never heard anyone refer to themselves as far right or white supremacists. The bullshit phrases pushed by the J media, and the J being, of course, the Zionist Jews, if we were to say that. No, they can never be us, so want to destroy us. Exactly that. That's all what ultimately boils down to. It's all just promoting the anti-white agenda. I mean, and Nadia fucking knows this, and even her husband Hamza knows this because they know for themselves that they're not really Scottish. Look at Hamza, for instance. Like he calls himself he calls himself Scottish like day in and day out. But when shit hits the fan, and also for him to maybe benefit him like a political gain for whatever reason, he will just change to Pakistani. So again, there you go. Seriously, I heard it not long ago, but there we go. There we are with that. Anyway, let me just have a quick look and see what's been said in the comments, and then I'll move on to something completely different with the other article, and then we'll see from there. So, non-whites in Dundee will never be Dundonians. They are strangers here. Get to. Let's see. Rants are good. Thank you very much. Thank the Lord. Thank you very much. Title Alba, thank you very much for watching the show. I think I've just seen you there. Exile Viking is there. Jojo Gizmo, how you doing? Thanks very much for watching. Excellent. Right, good to see. I hope everyone's enjoying the stream so far. So, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate that. What else to mention? Maybe as a short kind of commercial break, but I don't know if you want to call it that, but. Correct politically. I don't know if that's actually. Wait a minute. Sorry, as another follower on Twitter. I keep getting a lot of followers on Twitter as of late, which is a really good thing. All right. So someone completely different, right? That's fine. No worries. I thought it might be something for like a YouTube thing, but maybe not. But that's fine. No worries with that at all. That article boiled my piss. I don't blame you. It's a great stream. Thank you very much, European Housewife. Greatly appreciate your comment. What I will also say as well is that not only if you like the stream, please of course like it and share it far and wide if you can on other platforms. That would also be beneficial. What I would also say as well is. Of course, I'll mention this just now, but in the description down below, if you want to support me financially, it could be however amount you would like to. Again, the links for my Ko-fi page and my PayPal will be in the description down below. Please don't feel obligated if you have to donate or anything like that at all. It's only the option is there basically. If you wanted to donate to me financially, the links for those will be in the description. And if you donate to me, then I greatly appreciate your kind generosity. And if you don't donate, again, that's also no problem whatsoever. The option is there, basically. If you want to support me financially, Both the links for Coffee and my PayPal are again in the description down below in within this YouTube stream. You just have to click on the see more and you'll be able to find the links there. So anyway, just to mention that as well. And what else with that? He was granted Scottish citizenship without your consent, nothing more. Well, there you go when it comes to Hamza. DJ or Resisting the Lies. Me and Scott will be, I know sure about our guest, sadly. Going to have to wing it the night by the looks of it. Oh, so sorry, just responding to because I'm sorry, my bad. Right then, let's move on to the next article. Let me see here. I've already don't need that anymore. That's just a response with the article. Let me get this up here. All right, then. Now, as I mentioned, we'll just move on to the next article in question. Now, this was brought to my attention by English Rose. And this is an article by The Guardian. And apparently this is supposed to be some kind of new virus outbreak that's happened. When was this article first written? The 10th of August. So this was, again, like 4 days ago. So this is a fairly recent article that came out by The Guardian. Now, I know it's from The Guardian, but, I mean, this will be quite a funny laugh to read when it comes to this article over here. So what we'll do is I will share the screen again and bring this up here just now. And it reads, newly identified Lanya virus, I hope I pronounced that right, tracked after China reports dozens of cases. Virus which causes symptoms including fever, fatigue, cough, loss in appetite, and muscle aches is believed to have spread from animals to humans. So again, I guess this is supposed to be some other viral outbreak that we're all supposed to be afraid of. Like, oh no, like the horror in this, right? So let's have a look at this just now. This is again from the Guardian. So again, just bear with me just now with this. Researchers have begun tracking a newly identified virus in China with dozens of cases recorded so far. The novel Lanya Levi, I'll just say that, was first detected in the northeastern provinces of Shandong and Henan. I hope I pronounced that right, again, Chinese, but whatever, in late 2018, but was only formally identified by scientists last week. So this is possibly a brand spanking new virus that's been going on for about 4 years now, and it's only just being brought up now, which, I mean, okay, fair enough, whatever. The virus was likely transmitted from animals to humans, scientists said. The Taiwan's health authority is now monitoring the spread. The researchers tested wild animals and found Levi viral RNA in more than a quarter of 262 screws. A finding that suggests that shrews, my bad. A finding that suggests that the shrew may be a natural reservoir. The virus was also detected in 2% of domestic goats and 5% of dogs. Initial investigations into the virus were outlined and correspondence published by scientists from China, China, Singapore, and Australia in the New England Journal of Medicine, NEJM, last week. In people, the virus caused symptoms including fever, fatigue, cough, loss of appetite, and muscle aches. All of the people infected had a fever, the scientists said. The virus was the only potential pathogen found in 26 of the 35 people, suggesting that Levi was the cause of was it febrile illness or something like that to effect? It causes an illness, basically. There have been no deaths from Levi to date. Professor Wang Langfa of the Duke NUS Medical School, a co-author of the NEJM paper, told the state-run Global Times, well, why would you ever trust it, to be honest, as maybe communist, but anyway, that the Levi cases had not been fatal or very serious so far, and that there was no need to panic. So why is this even being brought up again? I guess this is supposed to be some kind of, well, if it gets way worse, then we're all supposed to panic at this point. Like, oh, this is a brand spanking new virus. Like, okay, whatever. It was still unclear whether the virus can be transmitted between people, researchers said. Most of the 35 cases were in farmers, and other infected individuals included factory workers. Contact tracing of 9 patients with 15 close contact family members revealed no close contact Levi transmission, but our sample size was too small to determine the status of human-to-human transmission, the researchers found. Scientists sequenced the Levy genome and determined it was a henipavirus. I hope I pronounced that right. If I don't, my apologies. A category of zoonotic RNA viruses that also included Hendra virus and Nipah virus. Hendra virus, which affect horses and humans and originated in Australia, and Nipah virus, which has caused disease outbreaks in Southeast Asia, have both been associated with high fertility rates. Levy is most closely related to the Mojiang virus, which was discovered in southern China. The Taiwan Center for Disease Control, CDC, announced on Sunday it would implement genome sequences and surveillance measures for the virus. Reported Taiwan's Central News Agency. I'm going to butcher this name. Chuang Zhen Xiang, I hope I pronounced that right. Deputy Director for General of the Taiwan CDC told a press briefing that the agency would research routes of transmission and would collaborate with its Council of Agriculture to investigate for similar diseases and specific native to Taiwan, species native to Taiwan. Infectious diseases experts have long warned that the climate crisis and the destruction of nature will increase the risk of viruses being transmitted from animals to humans in events known as zoonotic spillovers. So basically what it's trying to say is, and that's the end of the article, a new virus is out in Asia just now, and this is all the cause of global change or whatever, or climate change, if you will. I mean, is anyone really that surprised? I mean, it kind of sounds to me as if like this is supposed to be like a brand new virus, and people are supposed to be afraid of it. Yeah, exactly, Rick and Morris. A new virus just in time for winter. And funnily enough, this is a new virus that was created in Asia. No surprise there. Again, not trying to be. I mean, some people might say, "Well, that's just being racist," but again, it's just stating out the fact, isn't it? It's just stating out the fact of where it originated from. Even the Guardian even pointed out. But I guarantee, if this virus is supposed to be a lot worse, and if it's going to be another pandemic, if you will, I guarantee that the Guardian newspaper will try and retcon that and say, "Oh, it was never a virus that was made in Asia, or we never made that claim in the past." But you did. You did you wrote an article about that. But anyway, any novel virus coming out of China is going to cause a stir now. Yeah, pretty much that at this point. Oh, excuse me. I need that drink. Can't wait to get the man flu again for the missus to get my beers. Oh dear. I'm starting to feel nostalgia for the common cold. Well, I mean, whatever happened to the common cold? I mean, we all know exactly why it's not being really brought up at this point because of what happened with COVID. But anyway, I've also noticed just now that the Patriarchal Alternative have shared the stream, which is a good thing. But that was about maybe like an hour ago or something like that. Which, I mean, again, fair enough. That's pretty awesome. They still did that. Just in time for midterms in USA. Well, there we go. And that's that for the virus. What I will do now is I will see if I can bring this up on Twitter, because again, these were clips that were brought to my attention. So yeah, be prepared for this coming winter. Not only people are not going to be able to afford energy or electricity or anything like that at all because of what's going on with the whole Ukraine crisis going on just now with Russia and whatnot. But apparently we all need to be prepared for the new upcoming virus that's going to be coming along the way. So let me see here if I can get this up. I'm on Twitter, but I need to avoid this meme that's bringing to my attention, which is actually pretty funny. Let me see if I can get this up here. What was the name of it I was looking up for? Damn it. Wait a minute here. I think it was called Seeing as Believing. Yeah. Follows you. See, this is their Twitter account. Now I'm just going on to Twitter because, again, there were some video clips that surfaced as of late, both on Twitter and Telegram. And a lot of people within our circles have been sharing them all the time, which I mean, I don't blame them because they're actually pretty interesting. Well, not only interesting, but I think it's kind of it's a bit it's quite an eye opener to see these clips that were from either from the 60s, the 70s. Sometimes some of them were from the 80s, I think. But these were clips from a completely bygone era. And I think it's interesting to see most of these talking points were actually more public aware or more publicly said back then, but of course not now because of course we live in a very very different time now. But I want to bring these clips up and have you guys watch them with me because I think it's interesting to see where current state is just now, especially with these clips they're being surfaced at this point in time. Just want to sort the camera out for a minute here and then see with that. Right. So I'll just go through like a not like a timeline, but we'll just have a look through the page. The page, I'll just share the page just now. If you have Twitter, I would definitely give them a follow. But the name of the page on Twitter is called Seeing is Believing. So if you still have Twitter, I don't know if any of you with the chat may still have Twitter, but if you do, please give it a follow if you can. That would be much appreciated. And I'm going to share the screen. We'll see from that there. So let's have a look. So we'll have a look at this one here. So this is a pinned tweet which reads, "The rare color footage of Victory or a VE Day, or I'm assuming, yeah, Victory Day. This was just after World War II, filmed in West Gateshead, a time and the people long gone." And this is like, please like and retweet. So this clip is about almost 2 minutes long. So we'll just have a look at this together, and then we'll move on with the other clips on this page. So let's have a look at this. So that was a clip that was from Victory Day just after World War II. You know, when I first just come back to onto this page real quick, it's quite a tragic clip in terms of like a modern context of what we're going through just now, because I mean, yeah, Rick and Morris, but my diversity still built Britain. I know, right? But you can clearly see in that clip that the majority of the people there were all white. Now it's quite tragic watching a clip like that because I know that was at a point that was Victory Day, that was just after World War II. Britain, you know, declared victorious after the war and all of that, but it kind of bears to bring this point on. This was something that Cyborg mentioned on the PA talk before, which was a very a great point to make up to bring up. But he brings up a point when it comes to like clips like that, and asking the question, what exactly did we win? I mean, I know like a lot of people in that clip seem like very happy and their country won the war, but it brings the question like, well, what exactly did they win exactly? to not speak German or anything like that at all, because I actually would think it would be really interesting seeing those people who will be alive today and seeing the current state of Britain just now, because at this point in time, Britain is what is today and what was back then is like night and day. I'm sure many people in the chat would rather live in a Britain as it's shown in that clip just now than what we're seeing at this point in time. Again, it's just like night and day, and all of you could tell those people. After World War II, this is what's going to happen in Britain in a few years' time. They probably won't believe you, but I mean, yeah. Again, it just bears the question: well, what exactly did we win? And again, that's not to denigrate all the soldiers who fought and died during World War II, but again, it just really bears repeating. Well, it's true that it's a very salient point. What exactly did we win here? So. Was it the Neil Oliver Red Pill viral video has been removed? What? None of those people had credit. Yeah, it's a lot more happier right back then. So the Neil Oliver viral Red Pill GB news video has just been removed. All right, that's a bit bizarre. Don't know why they would remove it. If only. An Austrian painter would have stayed in his own lane. Well, from Spur Hunter. Let's see. I just want to have a look at this for a moment. I keep getting a lot of notifications on this. Sorry, folks. I've just seen this right here. Looks like 1976 about time. Yeah. Yep. All right. Let me see if I can find other videos within that same page, because again, there's a lot that actually. Oh, no, what's that? Watch us all the way through this. So that's a couple of minutes ago. Oh, we can maybe bring this clip up, because this is a clip that was from the Correct Not Political channel, which I gave it a bit of a shout out the previous episode. But I definitely recommend people subscribe to that channel, because it's actually a pretty decent channel. Sorry for repeating myself. Can't see my comments in the live chat. No, that's completely fine, Chris. No worries. Let's have a look at this clip here. I think I might have shown this already, but again, just for this sake here, we'll just have a look at this together and then keep on seeing more clips.
Yeah. Someone else's job. Yeah.
No.
Just noticed your placard saying refugees welcome here.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if you'd like to go down on a list saying you're willing to take the refugees into your home.
Of course not. Only problem is I rent.
You rent?
Yeah.
Maybe an issue?
Yeah, because they've got, they put 9 bedrooms in a 4-bedroom house, so we're pretty much
So, since you actually adopt a refugee and take them into your home?
Well, if I had any space, I
If
would.
you had
but
any
yeah,
space.
it wouldn't be
Right.
a nice place to bring them because
Yeah.
it's a bit overcrowded.
Right.
But yes, if I had the space, definitely.
Thank you very much for that, love. Pop one into your home?
I live in a rental place, so I can't.
Rental?
Yeah.
You can't do it?
Yeah.
Someone else's job?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I can't.
You
Oh
can't
shit!
take
Sorry,
one.
I'm actually sharing the screen. No, I'm not. Sorry, my
Don't
bad.
have the space. You have a refugee stay at your house?
Yeah, I don't mind.
There we
You
go.
go on
That
the
should be
list?
all right.
I don't mind. Yeah, I can take. Give me the thing. Oh wait, I can't because my house is only a little small. And
Amazing. Would you be willing to have a refugee in your own?
Yes, if I had room.
If you had room, it's funny that. To adopt a refugee?
No, thank you.
No, thank
Seen
you.
that
Any
clip
reason
before?
you
Yeah, I would have imagined. Like maybe there's actually another clip that I remember seeing. This was a fairly recent. Oh, we can have a look at this right before I show the clip from last night's raid in Chorley. As per usual, the middle class people's power worked. Immigration officials left empty-handed. These people will fight tooth and nail to stop illegal/criminals from being deported. Now, I think this was covered on another show. Maybe it was PA Talk, I think, covered it, but this is just cringy as hell. But let's have a look at this together, right? This is, again, about 45 seconds long, but yeah, let's look at this. So anyway, 3, 2, 1.
Refugees are welcome here.
Okay, just to let people know why we're here, we've been told there is a raid taking place and they want to take people away from the restaurant. This is the back of that restaurant. We also have people at the front of the restaurant, and it's worth saying that there are police officers here. There are also police officers in the restaurant, and we all make a clear standard tracing that we're here to support people that are part of our community. We will not allow the immigration services come in and kidnap people, because that's what they are doing. They're snatching people from their places of work and from their homes, and they're shipping them off to places. And we are here to stand together and say, these are part of our community.
Absolutely
and we stand
shameful.
shoulder to shoulder with these people. Say it clear!
Refugees are welcome here.
Okay, just to let people know why we're here, we've been told there is a raid taking place, and they want to take people away from.
Do you know what I actually find quite bizarre about this particular clip? It's kind of funny, like just how quick and just how they instantly got all of the stop racism placards like with them as well. I just kind of have a feeling like this entire operation there was almost like it was completely planned. I don't know. Maybe that's just me looking way too deep into it and maybe bringing up my far right conspiracy theories. But I just think it's quite bizarre that it's like the whole timing of it all. I mean, not only this is just completely cringy as fuck, but the fact that the timing of it all is rather suspect in nature. But yeah, I mean, just like these absolute tosspots, like, oh, say it loud, say it clear, refugees are welcome here. I guarantee they don't even live near fucking refugees or live any non-whites near them or living in some kind of multiculturalism type of area. Again, like I mentioned before, like these are the types of people who promote multiculturalism and diversity, but just not where they live. You know, as long as other people, you know, have to suffer through it themselves, but not them. They'll support it, but they don't want that anywhere near where they live. Let's see this. These scenes are shot generally around Oxford Street, London, W1. There are people who do not share Western liberal values and are no more than a violent feral scum. What's this? This is the behavior we deal with from children. Oh, sorry, hold on. Was this? Yeah, let's.
You went central.
I know that maybe the main theme of today's episode is about multiculturalism and diversity. Well, let's have a look at one example of why multiculturalism just simply nobody wants it and why it just simply doesn't work. Let's have a look at this just now. So it's about 1 minute and 6 seconds long, but let's have a look at this together. So 3, 2, 1.
You went central last night.
How can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay. Hitman in a top try, see a man topless, even a stick is gay. Hugging my brothers and say that I love them, but I don't swing that way.
Yeah, as I mentioned, this is
the
London,
man them celebrate Eid, the trap still running on Christmas Day. Somebody told Doja Cat that I'm trying to indulge in that. In my great tracksuit, see the bulge in that, see the motion clap when you're throwing it back. These females planning on doing me wrong.
See, look at them. They think they can just fucking take whatever they want and have no repercussions whatsoever. This is London now, by the way. London is completely fallen and completely fucked as a city. Absolutely fucking shameful. This is Sadiq Khan's fucking London now. This is what people have to deal with. Shameful. Absolutely shameful. Current state of London just now. I mean, that's just... let's see, what says Germany, Cologne, July 3rd, 1976. No police at the swimming pools, no sexual assaults or rapes. So look at this. This is almost like a way back machine type of idea. Oh, okay, so the tweet's been deleted. I wonder why. What else did I see? There was something in particular that did caught my eye. I'll come back to that one in a moment, but there was something that really... Oh yeah, this is exactly what I mean. It's like class war. I don't think it's just class warfare, but hope migration, refugees welcome. Yeah, exactly. Like that pretty much sums it up in a nutshell with regard to that. Where was it? There was a clip I saw that really... I don't know if we could... Yeah, it might be a funny video to watch. Let's have a look at this. Hold on. Right, I want to get back to the beginning here. Maybe a funny video to watch. Let's have a look at this.
How many seasons are there?
Come on, man. You can't even name the seasons, and this girl, like, she knows her astrology sign. I'm telling you, but she knows her astrology sign. She went to BLM parades. She's at a gay pride parade, but she can't name the seasons.
May, June, July.
May, June, July!
August, September, October, December.
Oh my God!
8? No.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said 8.
There's 12 months! And the question was about seasons!
Dear.
How many seasons are there?
That's pretty funny, actually, to be honest. But damn, I did see the video clip earlier, but where the hell is it? It was a clip from this might be it, from a TV show that was from the 70s. It's called that's actually, it might be it. It's on YouTube. I'll actually click on the link just so we can actually get the clip from YouTube. Now, this is a clip that was, of course, shared again from.
Now, what can I be doing?
Sorry, 1 second here.
We have lovely pampardums, curry powder, green figs, groundnuts.
Yes, sir. Only got the English food.
English food around the back.
Oh, this is from Twitter. Sorry. Now, this was a clip that caught my attention yesterday or today. It's again from Seeing Is Believing.
What can I be?
Just fucking pause it. Seeing Is Believing. Now, if I can read the description, I'm pretty sure people may have seen this already, but again, just for this sake here, it reads: this short clip from the hit TV show of the 70s, Love Thy Neighbor, is very prophetic, or like almost like a prophecy kind of an idea, but. This was treated as being funny replacement / mass migration and trying to expose a white man's ignorance / bigoted views on being displayed, when in reality it's actually quite a damning clip, because of what we're seeing today is almost like it's like a prophecy kind of an idea. But anyway, let's have a look at this clip together. So 3, 2, 1.
Now what can I be doing you for? We have lovely pampardums, curry powder, green figs, groundnuts.
Yes, sir. Haven't got the English food.
English food round the back.
Round the back?
Oh, yes. We must cater for the masses.
The masses? We are the masses.
Not in this neighborhood. Only last week, 28 Pakistani families moved to the beach road.
28 Pakistani families? How many houses did they sell?
2.
Typical, isn't it? Well, let me tell you this, Gungadin. You won't get my custom. I shall shop my own kind. From now on, I'm going to the Quad.
Please. Co-op no longer there. Under new management.
What new management?
Taj Mahal Curry Center.
Is nothing sacred? We're being taken over.
They do lovely tandoori chicken with pampardums.
Well, you know you can do your pampardums, don't you? I'm British. I eat British food. I'm going to Jackson's Chip Shop.
Please, Mr. Jackson no longer there?
Don't tell me. You bloody Jackie did.
Quite right. Under new management.
What is it now? A Chinese takeaway?
No. Ugandan supper bar.
Now, I thought this clip was pretty interesting to mention or even to bring up, because it's supposed to be a clip that was made in the 70s. Well, it's a clip from a show from the 70s that was supposed to be making fun of the white gentleman, making fun of his bigoted, like, racist worldviews and all of that. When you watch it now, it's actually somewhat pretty accurate, because, or at least you would identify, especially if you're a nationalist, you would actually identify with the white gentleman in that clip, because what was supposed to be making fun of that club is actually come to fruition nowadays in modern times, which I mean is quite it's quite, it's actually, pretty it does have a lot of saying to that and that fact. So anyway, it's quite interesting. I actually thought it was quite an interesting clip to bring up when I watched it. I think I watched it maybe this morning or maybe yesterday. I'm not entirely too sure, but I just thought it's quite interesting to see that, again, a clip that was that was from those times, that was supposed to be making fun of people like us, but is actually becoming more of a fruition, to say the least, in these times. But anyway, anyway, Just seeing again notifications. Was there any other clips? I'm trying to think when it comes to that. I think maybe that was it entirely with that. Yeah, maybe that was it. To think this is the 70s, I know it's quite. This was about like maybe 40 years ago at this point, which it's really really it's what could I say to that in that fact, but that part of Manchester has scarily similar demographics of bits of Islington and Camden. There we go. Let me see here. I hate the people who made this happen for that. All right, fair enough, fair enough. I think I already read that one here in that case. Damn. I think that's pretty much all the questions. Oh, no, not questions. I think that's really the clips done there, especially when it comes to the articles. That's pretty much it, really, in that case. So, unless, is there maybe other clips I did find? Oh, actually, no. I'm actually thinking about, there were two other ones that brought to question. Let me see here. Where would they be? Because these other two clips, again, I thought were pretty interesting, especially when it comes to today's of what's happened just now. Let's have a look and see if I can maybe find them quickly and then showcase them. Yeah, let's have a look at this. So this clip here is about almost 10 seconds long, but I think, again, it really speaks major volumes of what we're seeing today. Because all the stuff what we're seeing that you don't really hear as much today is actually seen to be a lot more vocal and a lot more apparent back then. What I mean by that is I'll show you what I mean when I show the clip here. Again, this is on Twitter, and then we can have a look at this together. So let's have a look. The sentiments of many British people back in the 1970s, are those same sentiments still shared by the populace, or has it now become a minority who share those views? Again, this clip is about 10 seconds long, so let's just have a look at this together. So 3, 2, 1.
Well, of course, there are far too many immigrants in this country.
We do not have sufficient houses, jobs and schools for our own people, let alone immigrants.
Yep, so those sentiments there were more spoken like back then, but not nowadays. Nowadays, if you were to make those opinions, then you would just be completely shamed to oblivion. You'd be made as a complete scumbag. Your life would possibly be ruined if you were to share these opinions. But back then, they were a lot more vocal about it because there wasn't really as much of an anti-white sentiment than there is today. Again, I think it's interesting bringing these clips up for the segment of the show. Is that it's a showcase like what it was like back then compared to what we're seeing like now. It's very night and day in regard to that. Mind you, a language shows how foreign people can't work together. We got them running the government nowadays. Well, there we go. So that was that clip. Was there maybe I think there was maybe another one in particular that I thought a lot of people were sharing. Well, mainly people in our circles were sharing, if I'm not mistaken. It was one to do with, again, from what you've seen in that clip about some of the like white British people talking about those sentiments, there was one similar to that when it comes to black people living in Britain, especially during the 70s. Let me see if I can just quickly find that for you just now, because again, it's pretty interesting to see, at least with that. And I think maybe some of these clips were actually from. Oh, actually, I want to show you guys this. Puritan at his finest. Actually, no, maybe I'll come back to that in a moment. But I was completely shocked by that video clip because that clip, parenting when it comes to like black families is just shocking to say those with that. Let me see if I can quickly find this video clip, and maybe I'll need to see if I can find it from Bonnie Lad. But anyway, because I think some of these video clips were from Bonnie Lad's channel. But 1 second here. I'm sure I can find these clips on this I was about to say Telegram, but it's maybe Twitter regarding to that. But anyway, let me see if I can get this up here real quick. Oh, actually, let me also show you like the current state of the police. Let me see this. Brighton yesterday, the woke police. This was at the start of August, technically. But let me just show you this real quick. This was it really goes to show the current state of the police in the UK just now. So let's have a look. It's almost 30 seconds long, but let's have a look at this just now. So anyway, 3, 2, 1. Probably get hit by a copyright strip, but I mean, I really don't care at this point. It's not really too long of a clip anyway, but still. That's the current police state just now, the police force at the moment. That's it. We'll pause that. I don't need to get hit with another copyright strike or anything like that at all, but still. Oh no, sorry, I wasn't even sharing. Wasn't even sharing that. Hold on 1 second here. Let's see. God damn it. Yes, this is what I mean by the current police force at the moment, which is quite embarrassing to say the least. There we go. Again, quite embarrassing, but I mean that's really what to. Yeah, people. Yeah, know the clip. Yeah, I've got the clip up there just now with that. But yeah, it is pretty cringe. But I mean that's the current state of the police force at the moment here. Trying to be all progressive and whatnot. And of course, if you dare say anything about it, then apparently your life will be completely ruined and be thrown in prison for the rest of your life. Apparently, I mean, how dare you? How dare you go against the status quo of the current state just now with that? Let me see. There was a question that was asked by Sparrow Hunter. I'll just respond to this real quick. They write, Chief Moody, do you honestly think PA's repatriation policy is workable? I mean, yeah, I would definitely say like it would be workable. I mean, I think it was about what 10 grand or 15 grand like a piece. I mean, I wouldn't imagine it would be done like a one and done thing, or maybe within like a year or anything like that. I would imagine it would take like a very long process for like going up to like any of these non-white people, non-white families or anything like that, and asking them, look, can you please leave and go back to your own countries or a country of origin, like whether it be ancestral homelands or where you left and come over here? Can you please go back there? Here's money that with to maybe spend with like a one-way ticket to go back to these countries, and I think that is pretty workable. I mean, I don't see how that isn't workable. I mean, I'm not really too concerned with like the economic aspect of it, how we would get 10 grand or 15 grand a piece, to any of these like non-white families to go back to their countries. I think it can be a policy that can be doable. I mean, I'm not trying to have a go at you, Spurk Hunter, or anything like that at all, but I'm curious to know like what would be your alternative option to that would be. I'm very open to hear about that. At the moment, when it comes to that, and I know some people might not think so as well, which of course is completely fine. And you guys are entitled to your opinion. I think that that's doable, in my opinion. I mean, that when it comes to the amount, and of course the policy with that, whether it be 10 or 15 grand, if people don't think that would be doable, by all means, please let other people, let me know, let PA know, or anything like that at all. It's a bit of a spell. My apologies. Well, what would be the alternative to that? I think any other alternatives would be great to hear. Honestly, I'm not saying that as like being sarcastic or trying to have a go or anything like that at all. But I'm open for any other suggestions or anything like that. So They won't go home for 15k. You're deluded. Well, I mean, they paid the traffickers much more than 15k to get through here. 15 billion pounds would get rid of the million at 15 grand a piece. I think maths ain't my strong point. Well, once you remove every was it freebie, 50k will sound good. I mean, yeah, there's that aspect to it too. 15,000 is less than a year of benefits. Chiefly, they are getting 30k plus a year in benefits here. So why do you think they'd happily go for 15k? Well, I think there's also a point to that when it comes to the benefit system. See, the problem with today's benefit system is seemed to be more used as a hammock rather than like an actual safety net for people to use. So what I think what PA would like to do is completely change the benefit system completely and have it become more like an actual safety net rather than actually being used as a hammock for people to just use like willy-nilly. Basically, they can't be bothered going to work or they can't look for a job or anything like that at all. So they just go to the state and look for benefits. So we would want to go back to having it more to be more of an actual safety net than an actual than to have to be as a hammock. So I think that the whole benefit system is completely screwed up beyond belief, and maybe that's to do with it. Because again, all the points in the comments section, again, I could see where everyone is coming from. Like, well, why would they accept 10 or 15 grand when it comes to benefits alone, they would get way more than that? And I completely understand where everyone's coming from with that. I think maybe the benefit system need to be changed with that entirely as well. That's also to do with that. Because there's a lot of people who do take advantage of the benefit system, and I think that needs to change also, definitely. A second here. What about the third and fourth generation immigrants who only know Britain as their homeland? Well, I mean, the problem with Asperg Hunter is that they themselves don't really see themselves. Sure, there may be like a small minority of them that see themselves as British, like British, not just British citizens, but actually like British people. But the problem with that, though, is we all know for a fact that race and ethnicity are in fact a thing. And we all know for a fact that Britain, or at least England, Wales, etc., are predominantly white countries. And I mean, they can cope and say that all they want, but we all know for a fact that these people, being non-whites, blacks, Asians, and so on and so forth, they're not British, nor are they white. And they need to accept that fact, and possibly, if they want to go back to their ancestral homelands, they can, or if they want to stay in Britain, then they can also. I mean, for me personally, this is just my point of view when it comes to like the percentage of white Britons in the country. I don't want a complete white ethno state when it comes to Britain. I would want Britain to be a white majority country, about maybe 90-95% white country, and that's it. Like a small handful of immigrants to me is okay, but at the end of the day, they're not really my people. My people should come first when it comes to that, especially when I'm up here in Scotland. I live in Scotland. To me, the Scottish people come first, and if you're English, the English people come first. If you're Welsh, the Welsh people come first, and if you're Irish, of course, obviously the Irish people come first. So when it comes to that, so again, 95% majority white country, a small handful of immigrants is somewhat okay, but again, they're not my people. My people, in this case, the Scottish people, would come first in regard to that. I think that will really be it. I think what I'm just going to do quickly is, if I do this, I'll see if I can get the links for the upcoming streams like PA Film Club, or even Ragnar Iron Spears' stream at 7 p.m. if you guys are interested. I'll see if I can get the links for that in just a moment. Hold on a second here. Sorry, I just keep getting... I'm just going to close Twitter. I don't think I need that anymore. I don't think I really need that either. Let me just see. Resisting the Lies. Are you a unionist, Chief Moody? Just curious. It's a bit weird on my part with that. So even some of the guys from PA Scotland even asked me that as well. They've asked me, are you like a unionist? I think it's a bit weird for me because on one hand, I don't consider myself to be a unionist per se, but I think I don't know, actually, this is something I've been thinking about for quite a long while now, because I would have a conversation with some of the guys from PA Scotland. I've even noticed some people in the chat in previous episodes when it comes to the subject matter of Scotland and Britain. Should they stay together as a British Union, or should they all be separate, actual separate nations? What I would say to that question, resisting the lies, I would say I used to be somewhat of a unionist. I wouldn't call myself a unionist, but I would believe in the idea that that Scotland should be part of Great Britain as an actual British Union. Now, at this point in time, and from my conversations I've had from some people at PA Scotland, and even, of course, some people in the chat have also made this point as well. At this point in time, I would prefer that Scotland were to become an independent nation, and when I say independent nation, I mean an actual independent nation. So we're not part of any union, whether it be Britain or Europe, but we would actually be in control of our own borders. We would be in control of our own nation and in control of our own destiny. Because I think Scotland is a country for the Scottish people, and I think Scotland should be controlled and destined by the Scottish people as a country when it comes to that. As British as you, innit? Yeah. And I think maybe like send the EU trash at home, that can be done legally. Fair point with that. Fair point with that. Now, when it comes to Scotland becoming an actual independent nation, obviously we're saying that I don't want the SNP. I don't want the SNP to have any involvement with that whatsoever, because we all know for a fact of what would happen if the SNP were to have any involvement of Scotland becoming an independent nation. Then they would want us to go back to the European Union, which even then it would be kind of like, well, it would be kind of like a will we, won't we actually become an independent nation. Even if we were to become an EU nation, or EU state, even if we were to become a European Union state, then there's a high possibility we would need to use the euro as the currency rather than the pounds or the sterling pounds. And of course, many people who would be involved with our laws and all of that, we would have no say in the matter when it comes to voting for the European Union bureaucrats. So I actually kind of find it funny how all these, like, quote unquote Scottish nationalists, if you will, SNP nationalists, when it comes to that, support the idea of leaving the British Union, but then want to jump ship to the European Union. But then when it comes to like the bureaucrats in the EU, they have no real problem with that. Which, I mean, it's like, again, the hypocrisy with these people astonishes me. So kind of see where you're coming from, Chief. I want the independence narrative to die. It's divisive. I see your point with that. It's not independence. I, however, would want Scotland to be legitimately independent if and when the entire UK is rid of issues. Again, yeah, fair point with that. Fair point. Fair enough, Chief. That is a touchy question to answer, or tough question to answer. Yeah, it can be with that. We can set them all against each other and remove them slowly. The UK either needs radical reform or to cease to exist, to be honest. The sovereignty of England and Scotland and Wales was dissolved in 1707. It's all just more theatre. There we go. What I'm just going to do now is I'm just going to see if I can get the links for the upcoming streams up here in the moment. I'll see if we can get the Ragnar Iron Spears first, because that's a stream that's on YouTube, and that'll be on at 7 p.m. So let me just see if I can get this up here in the moment. 1 second here. Yeah, Rags and Jacks at 1 second here at one moment. So there's the URL for the stream, or for Rags and Jacks. Let me just post that here. I'm all for a proper independent Scotland, just like as a Northumbrian, I'm all for a proper independent Northumbria too. Fair enough. They complain about the unelected Tories, yet want to be bummed by unelected EU bureaucrats. I know, well, like I said, the hypocrisy for them lot is astonishing. I'd still be interested to hear what you were up to in Overton Crescent, Chief Moody. Oh, I thought I've already talked about that earlier on. Well, long story short, for maybe people who've missed it, myself and a couple of guys from PA Scotland, especially more specifically the Central Branch, were up in Denny earlier on to post leaflets through, of course, door to door, and it was the white minority leaflet by 2060 or 66 leaflet. I was about to say handed out, but technically leafleted through door to door. We handed, I think we posted about 1,000 leaflets, just the three of us today. So we finished. So we started around about just before 12, about 11:30, I would say, and we finished about 2:30 in the afternoon, somewhere like that. Which was, of course, a great day for us, especially it was like blistering hot. I will say one of the guys, some of you might have seen the image already, but one of the guys was wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, which, I mean, it was pretty ballsy for him to do that, which definitely would bring a lot more attention from us. But even from that, we would never been given any heckles or any grievances or anything like that at all, which was actually quite surprising, especially one of the guys was wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, which, I mean, fair play to him. It was pretty ballsy for him to do that, but I mean, you would imagine that would somewhat maybe drawn more attention to us with that. But even then, there was no any heckles or any abuse or anything like that at all when we were posting the leaflets to door, or even when we were out in public, because again, there was many people walking around us, especially when the guy had the White Lives Matter shirt. But again, it was a great time nonetheless. And even with that, we handed out, as I said, 1,000 leaflets that day or earlier on today, which was really great stuff nonetheless. So what I've done was, folks, I posted the link for Rags and Jack's stream. That's Rags and Iron Spears' stream at 7 p.m. So, of course, just after the show ends today. And what I will also do is, if I can get Telegram up at the moment, I'll post a link or the links, I should say, for the PA Film Club. Now, today's PA Film Club is a film called Children of Men, and that will be streaming on Laura's DLive, Mark's Odysee, the Radio Albion, if you want to listen to the audio version of that. And finally, if you want to ask the panelists any questions, be it paid or unpaid questions, then you would go on to Mark's Odysee link. I'll see if I can get that here at the moment. Where about would I find that actually? Wait a minute. Here we go. I'll see if I can get the links here. So I'll start off with Mark's Odysee link, which of course you'll find PA Film Club stream live on Mark's Odysee. That's the Mark's Odysee link just there. And then I will get Laura's DLive. We'll see, post a link for that there. Laura's DLive. If you want to listen, as I said, to the audio version of the PA Film Club film review of Children of Men, you can listen to the audio version of this through Radio Albion. And I'll just post that there. And finally, as I said, if you want to ask any of the panelists any questions, the panelists include Mark Collett, Laura Taylor, Native is Concerned, and Steve Harrison. If you want to ask them any questions, be it paid or unpaid questions, then you can go on to the Entropy stream link and then ask them questions. Again, be it paid or unpaid or anything like that at all. And those are the links for the streams for tonight. So if you want to check them out at 7 p.m., whether it be Ranger Iron Spears' stream or the PA Film Club, it's entirely up to yourself. The links are in the chat just now for those who want to catch and watch them. Now, I think that will come to the end of today's episode, so I hope everyone has enjoyed today's episode. I'm not too sure if I'll be back for Thursday with episode 98, but I'll keep you guys posted, like an update with that, if I'll be available or not. So definitely follow me on Telegram if you want to catch any updates with that stream for episode 98. I might do that stream on Sunday next week. I'm not entirely too sure, but again, I'll keep you guys posted with any future updates with that on Telegram. With that being said, just before I leave today, so if you like to stream today, please hit the like button. I would say share it around, but it might be a bit too late for that. But subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. what I will leave is if you guys still want to donate to me, or because if you enjoy my work or anything like that, or if you want to financially support me for any future projects, be it future episodes or future videos on my channel, or be it YouTube or Odysee or anywhere like that at all, then please feel free to donate to me through PayPal or through coffee, through my coffee page, which are in the description down below. Again, please do not feel obligated as if you have to donate or anything like that at all. The option is there for you to have. So if you want to donate, please donate to me through those links. If not, then again, I'm not going to lose any sleep or anything like that at all, but the option is there. Anyway, that being said, that will come to the end of today's episode. I hope everyone enjoyed. I'll be back on Sunday, maybe next week, but I'll keep you guys updated with any future announcements on Telegram. So definitely keep an eye out on that. In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can find an outro song for today's episode. In fact, since we were talking about yeah, you know what? Actually, that song might actually fit with today's episode, because again, at the start of the episode, we were reviewing the the Nadia El-Nakla opinion piece, if you will, but I wrote it just comes off like a virtue signaling piece. But anyway, that's beside the point. Let me play this song, because I think this might actually. Or actually, no, maybe screw it. I'll just play the song. It's from Sabaton, but the song is called "The Blood of Bannockburn." Hopefully, this song might be okay to play, but I'll just play it nonetheless. So again, thank you all very much for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you all in the next episode. And I'm going to be going away and make myself dinner, so I can't wait for that. Anyway, see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Thank you and good night. Take care.
Time has come to fight. Scotland must unite. We'll make a stand on sterling ground to put a challenge to the crown. We are one, we are come. We're here to bring an end to the occupation. We have our nation's fate in hand. It's when we make our final stand. Rally all the clans, Englishmen and lands. Blood of Bannockburn, point of no return. Join the Scottish Revolution. Freedom must be won by blood. Now we call for revolution. Lay their fights and cry out loud. We need a king to rule the land. Bruce is in command. It is the crown that's in his sight, and it's the reason we will fight. To attack, send the back. You'll never see the Bruce's coronation. We are the Scots with pikes in hand, and we will die to claim our land. Rally all the clans, halted English plans. Charge of Bannockburn, freedom we shall earn. Join the Scottish Revolution. Freedom must be won by blood. Now we call for revolution. Lay their fights and cry out loud. As the hunger lost its power, and a weak failed to succeed, lay the Jews of victory. Lay them higher and higher tonight. Here Bannockburn, freedom we have earned. Join the Scottish Revolution. Freedom must be won by blood. Now we call for revolution. revolution. Lay their fights and cry out loud. Join the Scottish Revolution. Freedom must be won by blood. Now we call for revolution. Lay their fights and cry out